Dear students, welcome to the discussion of database security. Let us see what are the different concerns that comes when we talk about securing a database. The types of securities involved in securing a DBMS includes the following things. The first one is legal and ethical issues, which are mostly related with laws that is governing into the country where the DBMS is being deployed. Policy issues. This may relate to the company policies, country policies, and the DPMS policies. We will discuss these four in detail in the coming slides. We also have the fourth security type of security, which is called as system related issues. And it is also very important to identify the different levels of security that needs to be applied to secure the DBMS. Now let us discuss each one of it in detail. The legal and ethical issues covers up the data privacy regulations, confidentiality and non-closure aspects of the DBMS and data retention policies of the company and the country. In data privacy regulations, the DBMS may adhere to law and regulations which might be provided by cyber world or cyber security or the organization in which the DBMS have been deployed. For example, if it is related to hospital industry or the healthcare industry, then they usually follow HIPAA, HIPAA, which is given here in the brackets. And there are different laws and regulations available, and you can go, if you are interested, you can read much more about the ones that are listed here. GDPR, HIPAA, or CCPA are the ones, that can be considered as the law that can govern the DBMS or the database or the data rules which are stored into the database management system. These laws, they govern the way how the data should be collected, the data should be stored, and the use of data, um, personal use of data. For example, the use of personally identifiable information, also called as PII, or sensitive data within the database. So the DBMS has to follow the data privacy regulations. Now, let us take an example. When you try to register for any of the website that you might be interested in, so basically they are, numerous users that register on a website for a specific reason. Now they collect some personal information from you, like your hobbies, your goods, your education, your things of interest, and they might sell it out to the products that are available as per your preferences. So basically, the PII information is taking care about selling or not selling of information which any organization gather from a registered user. So as you know, the data is black gold. Hence, there are certain rules and regulations that are applied on the data, and the DBMS have to follow those rules. The list of regulations are given here, such as GDPR, HIPAA, and CCPA. Let us understand confidentiality and non disclosure. Ensuring that the sensitive information which is stored in the DBMS is kept confidential to the company and it is not disclosed to any unauthorized individual or third parties is one of the important things that the DBMS must take care of. For example, if your data is stored inside any hospital or a healthcare industry, then only the doctors which are registered to that hospital should get your data. It should not be disclosed to any pharmaceutical company or any other company for so many reasons. So the DBMS should maintain the confidentiality. Data retention policies. What are the Let us see what are the data relation related policies. Data retention policies are related to adhering to the legal requirements regarding the retention or keeping of the users' data. For example, if an hospital is allowed or compelled to keep the patient's records for 10 years, then after 10 years, uh, they have to discard it in a proper way. Otherwise, they are considered as it is considered as an illegal act. So, the data retention policies are the policies that are related to the retention of user data and the deletion of it, ensuring that the data is kept no longer than allowed, or it is not deleted when it is not supposed to be deleted. So these three things comes in the legal and ethical issues. Now let us see what are system related issues. System related issues covers three types of things related to the system. Database hardening, making the database more robust to survive against the security threats or security, or protecting the DBMS from the insecure access or by tampering the default settings, limiting unnecessary services and disabling unused features. So all these things makes your database more robust and hardened to exploit in a wrong way. Then the second one includes continuous monitoring of the DBMS to make sure that the database environment is free from anomalies. It also includes to detect the anomalies and unauthorized access attempts and take appropriate actions against the unauthorized access. For example, if you try to use your your debit card or a credit card with incorrect password for 3 times, as a result, the accounts gets deactivated. To just make sure that your database, your bank account is not used by some hacker. Yeah, it has to take care. The monitoring, the continuous monitoring have to take care about the all suspicious activities that may take the DPMS into some harmful action or a harmful activity. Integration of security tools includes IDS, antivirus software, and encryption tools to keep the database environment proper. Or use or and the deploying and integration, deploying or using the IDS stands for integrated security tools, such as antivirus system, encryption tools, all have to be accompanied by a DBMS. And these tools, integration of security tools, helps to keep the DBMS secure. Let us see the different policy issues. Access control policy, security training and awareness, and incident response plan are the three policy issues that a DBMS takes care. Access control policies include establishing policies, and the guidelines for granting means giving, or revoking means taking back the user privileges, and managing users' access rights to the DBMS. This includes defining rules and permissions based on the job responsibilities. For example, students are also the banner users, teachers are also the banner users, but but their roles are different. So based on the role, one student cannot see the grades of another student. However, a teacher can see the grades of both the students related to the teacher's course. So this is a very concrete example about access control policies. So it includes giving the permissions and revoking the permissions and managing the user's rights. Security training and awareness includes implementing programs to educate database users and administrators. It includes security best practices and data handling procedures and recognizing security threats. We will see what are the different security threats shortly. Incident report response plan. Incident response plan. If there is any incident that happened, then it has to be dealt with, it has to be handled. Hence, incident response plan works in that place, developing procedures to handle security incidents, including the steps for identifying or containing or mitigating and recovering from the security breaches, are all taken care by the response plan against the incident. Multiple security levels involves classifying the data into database based on its sensitivity and then implementing varying security measures accordingly. For example, sensitive financial data might require more strict access control rules and encryption compared to the less sensitive customer contact information. So these are the multiple security levels that has to be taken care. There are three types of threats to the database: loss of integrity, loss of availability, and loss of confidentiality. Now, in order to handle these four types of threats, these three threats, uh, the DBMS implements four countermeasures that include number one, access control; number two, inference control; number three, flow control; and number four, encryption. Access control. This function is called access control because it is handling the user accounts and password to control the login process by the DBMS. Inference control. It is used to measure the strategies employed to address the security concerns within the statistical database, aiming to offer statistical information or summaries of values based on diverse criteria. This all comes in the interference control. Flow control, preventing information from flowing in such a way that it might or end up reaching unauthorized users. Encryption. A final security issue is data encryption, which is used to protect sensitive data such as credit card information by encrypting and decrypting and giving these encrypted and decrypted algorithms to the concerned authorized user only. Now, transmitting the credit card information via a communication network is very risky. Hence, encryption techniques are used. So, access control, inference control, flow control, and encryption together take care about saving the database from these threats, maintaining its integrity, availability, and confidentiality. Now, let us see the job of a database administrator in database security. The DBA is the central authority for managing our DBMS. The DBA responsibility includes granting privileges to the user who need to use the system. For example, if there is a new employee joining KFU, a new user account is created based on the role. If the new hire is a teacher or a student or someone else, then the particular job role requirements are given access. For example, if a new teacher has joined the staff in KFU, then a new ID is created for her, and maybe she will be able to create the assignments and send it into the banner or send it into the blackboard. So creating an assignment is actually creating a field inside the teachers table, inside the course table, inside the students database. So creating a table, deleting a table can be a simple example of accessing, granting privileges to the user. The DBA also classifies users and data according to the policy of the organization. The DBA is also responsible for the overall security of database system. The two types of security mechanisms that exist in the database includes discretion and mandatory security mechanisms. Discretion security mechanisms are the methods of enforcing discretionary access control to the in a DBA in a database system, which is based basically on granting and revoking the privileges. Mandatory security mechanisms includes all those security measures that are compulsory in order to maintain the security of the DBMS. The discretionary privileges are applied at the account level or at the table level. If it is, now let us see the discretionary privileges which are applied at the account level. At this level, the DBA specifies the particular privilege that each account holds independently of the relation in the database. The relational level or a table level database, uh, at this level, the DBA can control the rights to access or the privileges to access each individual relation or view in the database. For example, if there is a very sensitive table called as grades table in the banner, or the accounts related table in the bank, then it is very sensitive. So all the users of a particular organization should not be allowed to access this sensitive table. Hence, a relational level or a table level security is applied here, which will allow only those privileged users to access it who are being given authorized access to it. So this is an example of a relational level or a table level privilege. Whereas in account level, the DBA will specify what a particular user is allowed to do. For example, a teacher in the KFU is allowed to mark or mark the attendance or delete the attendance, or create exams or delete the exams, add the grades and delete the grades. But a teacher by itself is not able to delete a student. So the account level privileges tells that a, a account being created by using some specific role will be granted privileges to a number of rights that will be available to that particular user only. Okay, so these are the two discretionary privileges types. The privileges at the account level apply to the following SQL statements. The first one is a create statement, create table privilege, also called as create schema privilege, which is used to create a base schema or a base relation. The create view privilege, the alter privilege, the drop privilege, and modify and select privilege to retrieve information from the database by using any select query. Now let us see an example here. Suppose that the DBA creates four accounts, A1, A2, A3, and A4, and wants only A1 to be able to create the base relation. Then the DBA must issue the following grant command. Grant create tab to A1. Now if the DBA decides to give the create base relation to A4, then the same grant command is issued for account 4, which is given like this: grant create tab to A4. In SQL2, the same effect can be accomplished by having the DBA issue a create schema command as following: create schema, okay, and name of the schema authorization to A1. So these both commands means the same, but depending on the version of SQL you're going to use. If you're using SQL2, you will use the create schema command. However, if you're using SQL, the base version, the basic version, then you say grant create tab to A1. Now, the DBA has a DBA account in the DBMS. Sometimes these are called as a system or a super user accounts. These accounts provide powerful capabilities such as creation or account creation for the users joining the company, account deletions. This is an example of an access control. Privilege granting, giving the privileges to a user based on the role. This is an example of a discretionary mechanism. The third one is privilege revocation. What we do here, we just take back the privileges that have been assigned to the user, maybe while the user is leaving the company. Now, the last one is a security level assignment, which is an example of a mandatory control. Let us proceed. with the next slide, we are going to see now the access protection, user accounts, and database audits. Whenever a person or a group of person need to access the database system, the individual or a group must first apply for a user account. If you, for example, if a new student joins KFU and she wants to use the KFU email or the KFU resources such as Blackboard or Banner, then she have to apply for a new account. When the new account is created, a password is generated in order to make sure that the user is authorized. The user must then log into the DBMS by entering the user ID and the password whenever the DBMS access is needed. Now, let us understand what is system log and database audits. After the user joins the organization, they are being supplied by the user ID and the password of which can be changed by the user upon the next, the next subsequent access. Okay. Now, as soon as the user starts using the database, the database starts keeping track of all the operations on the database that a certain user applies throughout each session in the system log. So when, for example, when I access my any online banking account, the session is being recorded and it will maintain what all transactions that I have made. The details of all those things are recorded so that it is going to help me whenever the system gets into the trouble. It can also help to get the system back in case if the transaction failure occurs or the system crashes. All these session information is kept inside a system log. If any tampering with the database is suspected during this session, then a database audit is performed. A database log is used mainly for security purposes, and sometimes it is also referred to as audit trail. With this, we complete the database security introduction.